Deep in a remote forest in the Tver region, these orphaned bears are being nurtured and strengthened in preparation for their return to the wild. For a national emblem, bears in Russia aren't afforded much respect outside of this now world-renowned sanctuary. Many cubs end up here because of the cruel, recently banned winter den hunt. Soon these babies will be weaned off their milk and porridge. Come early summer, they'll be released back into a slightly less perilous wilderness. The future of one of the world's most persecuted animals may be a little brighter in their main, vast and often unforgiving territory. This footage shows sleeping bears being woken from hibernation. They emerge dazed and confused from their dens before being shot at point-blank range. Inside, cubs are often left behind, unable to survive the Russian winter alone.
The number of bears in the Central Forest Reserve in Russia is higher than anywhere else which lies between the Atlantic and the Urals. There's approximately 1 bear per 1,000 hectares of land. For centuries, impassable marshes and dense thickets have protected these forests and their inhabitants from human intervention. This is what has preserved the conifer forest, which is 360 kilometers west of Moscow in the Tver region. In 1931, the Central Forest Reserve was founded here. There's a small village hidden in a remote part of the reserve, far from major roads. Around 20 years ago, a family of biologists settled here. Currently, the spot is referred to as the Чистый лес, or the Clean Forest Biostation. This is the only center in Europe which takes care of orphaned bear cubs. Every morning, Tver Pazhetnov and his son Vasily are out to feed the cubs. The only way bears recognize humans is by their smell. That's why the pair always wear the same clothes when feeding the animals and never use aftershave before feeding them. The entire process of feeding the cubs with porridge takes no more than 30 seconds. Sergei and his son scatter the food and quickly retreat. This is how they teach the cubs to become accustomed to finding their own food, because once they are 7 months old, they will be left to their own devices. Valentin Pazhetnov is an ecologist and the founder of the biostation. He and his family have lived in the woods for almost 20 years. The biologists raise orphaned bear cubs, keep scientific records, and then release them into the wild. January is the most difficult and worrisome month for the family of biologists. When hunters try to kill a bear in its lair, it's often the mother who is killed. People bring cubs from all over Russia to the bear orphanage. It looks like a real orphanage. First, people feed the cubs with milk, keep a record of their weight, and give them a bath, which is necessary because the cubs behave just like children. They often get dirty. In their natural environment, their mother takes care of them by licking the dirt off, but here taking a bath is the only option. Then they need to learn to find food for themselves. The cubs develop very quickly between the age of 2 and 3 months. Once they have grown a little, they learn to walk. When the spring comes and the cubs are 3 months old, they are moved into an open-air fold. They are much stronger by now, but still, they don't dare to leave the home they have grown accustomed to. They are afraid of venturing out into the wild and to start living in the woods on their own. By this time, people have stopped feeding the cubs. By September, it's time to let the cubs go into the woods. As they look for something to eat, they go deeper and deeper into the forest. Gradually, they get used to living on their own. By the time winter is over, the bears have forgotten about the people who nurse them and will fully adapt to living as wild animals. Bears are often associated with Russia, and there's good reason for this. There used to be plenty in the country, but today the brown bear is listed as an endangered species. There are approximately 200,000 left worldwide, and the majority, 120,000 of them, are in Russia. Here in Russia, people consider the bear to be the king of animals and call them father out of respect. One thing we should all remember is not to bait a bear, as they can be very unpredictable.